All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our GPAC Talkback Thursday. I'm Amy Miller, Director of Programming and Education here at the Jane Susie Gooch Performing Arts Center on Auburn University's campus, and we are thrilled to have Elley Duhé here today with us. Hey, Elley.
Hi, everybody. Hi.
So nice to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Absolutely. So we are thrilled. I'm going to just start out with a quick intro. As many of you may know, Elley is our second artist of our fall GPAC Live Alabama Artists Series. So we're thrilled to be lifting up Alabama artists, the talent of this vibrant, creative state that we have here in the South. So I'm going to let you all know a little bit about Elley. She's a singer and songwriter from Dauphin Island, Alabama, the very southern tip of our state. Since 2016, she has released a series of singles, including the pop ballad Happy Now with the internationally acclaimed producer Zed. She also released the 2018 EP Dragon Mentality and has collaborated with Taro and Cool and Dre, among others. Thank you for being here. So let's start out with the location, the land that we're on, the land of the Choctaw, which you and I have been talking about over the last few days, and what it means to be from this land of Alabama. Can you talk a bit about that as an artist?
Yes, absolutely. Well, there's such a richness to where we're from and to the Southern just way of life, you know. There's so many wonderful parts of nature that I love to be in. I love being in nature myself. And so, yeah, just look outside. We're really so blessed to be surrounded by such wonderful greenery, really, and the changing of the seasons and all of the waterways and being close to the ocean like I am. It's just such a wonderful place to live, I think, and I'm excited to see what happens for the future of Alabama and where we're headed as a community together.
Wonderful. Beautifully said. Thanks, Elley. Being an artist, a singer-songwriter, you have roots here in the state and then in the South.
I was born in Mobile.
Yeah, and then you grew up on the coast area.
Yeah, I grew up on the coast area, lived a little bit in Mississippi and in Alabama. And yeah, my parents are on Dauphin Island, and I've spent so much of my life there, especially the later years as well. And yeah, Dauphin Island, if you've never been, it's this small little fishing town on the edge of the United States, on the edge of the Alabama coast where the ocean meets the land. And it's a little fishing place. It's really beautiful. They call it a thin place, actually, where the space between heaven and earth is thinner. So I would like to think, and I do believe that it is a truly special place to be.
Yeah. We were lucky enough to be with you earlier this week on the island, doing some advanced engagement work and filming work with you.
Yeah.
And so you showed us around these really special places on your island. It was my first time. It's a beautiful space, beautiful place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you also talked about the spirituality and the sound and how nature has influenced you as an artist as well.
Yeah, I'm such a Southern hippie, you know. I'm a little flower child. I love being in the woods, and I grew up on all kinds of music from rock, classic rock, alternative rock, blues, bluegrass, folk music, jazz music, classical, and then as well as new age music, all the alternative 90s music. And then I got introduced into hip hop and pop music as well. And so I've been influenced by it all. But there are a lot of amazing musicians that I grew up with around here, local musicians that really kind of supported me growing up. One of them being, her name is Christy Lee, and another one being Shauna P. They're both powerhouse soul singers. And growing up, I'd never been really had a lot of relationships, like positive relationships with other female artists, but these two women really set the standard of bringing in, you know, a younger artist and being so kind and loving. And so, yeah, a lot of those people in the South, the musicians down here really kind of brought me in. took
Wonderful.
a little bit.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, networking and community building through
Awesome.
the music is everything, right?
Yeah.
So speaking of, I'm going to let everyone know if you've just joined us, we're here with Elley Duhé, who's a brilliant Alabama artist. Yeah, that's on our series, our GPAC Live Alabama Artist Series. And this evening at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, Elley will be performing for us on our stage here at the Gouge Center, Renton stage, and the Baltos Theater. And we'll be live streaming your performance out to everyone that wants to join. Performances are free on our GPAC Live series this fall. And so all you need to do if you're watching and you haven't registered yet, it's just like purchasing a ticket. You go to our website, gougecentertickets.auburn.edu. You register for a free ticket and you'll get a link in your email to watch along from wherever you are, whether you're in your living room or cooking dinner, you can join us this evening. So yeah, so speaking of, again, being rooted in Alabama, I know that your father was a musical figure.
He's always loved music, and he loved the arts as well. He was an artist, and so I grew up playing music with him, and he would play guitar and I would sing, and he's the first person that really encouraged me to go for it and to make a career out of it, and he really believed in me, and I think that's really important, to believe in your kids and support their dreams and their passions. So yeah, he's basically the head figure and the roots to the foundation of who I am as a person and my music as well.
So great. And you joined us earlier with some of our Auburn University Music Department students. So thanks for taking the time to speak to some of our commercial music students that are studying more of the electronic and tech side of what our field is, which you're highly connected to. So you had mentioned in that class that at the time you felt it was lazy to not be in the covers, right? But it actually was a different type of creativity.
Yeah, it was a different type of creativity for sure. I definitely have had to work on my procrastination over the years, but definitely it was just a different form. I wasn't wanting to learn other people's music. I wanted to make my own right from the get. So I guess that was a telltale sign, huh?
Yeah, you're a songwriter from the start, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that songwriting. Tell us about where it's taken you. You've been on quite the journey already in your career.
Songwriting is really, it's always just such a fun challenge to every week and every day when you can challenge yourself to create something that excites you and that moves you and that you think is awesome. And so always having that challenge to meet every week, I never get tired of it. And I always love finding new ways to express myself and finding the right ways to express myself. And it's definitely, it's been a journey, but I never get tired of it. After like 10 years, I'm still so excited, and I feel like brand new, like in the industry. I feel like so young. So it's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, you've had quite the career, and you're out in LA now. So, and you have a manager, and you've worked with various producers. Why don't you tell our audience a bit about that process and what brought you to LA and what kind of transpired through that process?
So when I was 17, 18, I started going to Nashville, and I started meeting with people in the industry out in Nashville and doing a few songwriting sessions, meeting with publishers out there. I was never really like a country artist, so they weren't exactly sure what to do with me, but they were fans. And so I spent some time there, and then I went to Austin, Texas, which is where live music capital is. And I spent like 2.5 years there, and then I would fly back and forth from there to Nashville to Los Angeles. And so I kind of was getting my feet wet in all of these major cities. And so over a couple of years, I started to really establish myself, working with new people, always going into meetings and just being pretty hard-headed about what I was going to do, which was make music and have the world hear it kind of mentality. So I went through a lot of rejection. I mean, literally, it felt like it was thousands of no's, you know. It probably wasn't that many, but it felt like that. And so I went through a couple of years of like just straight up rejection and things of, you know, you need to lose weight and you need to be this and you need to be that. You're too this, you're too that, you're too outside of the box. You know, we're trying to fit you into a box. And so that was a bit of an internal struggle coming up in the industry, but I made it through it all, and I got signed to a publishing deal as a songwriter in LA in 2017, and then I got signed as an artist the year later by a label, and I went through the whole major label process. I did that for a couple of years. I toured. I did the Happy Now song. I did a few other big records, released my own project, and then now I'm out of the label deal and I'm independent again and getting a whole new project together. And it's really the best I've ever felt and the most excited I've ever been about the evolution of where I've come from and where I'm at this point.
That's brilliant.
So it's a journey. It's all about the journey, man.
Well, and you're a soul that you're an artist that really seems to, the time I've spent with you, it seems you really value that journey. You really value the different messages and conversations and pieces that bring to that journey, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we've talked a little bit about being a woman in this industry as well, and some of those comments that you just mentioned definitely hit home for women, right? In a way that men maybe don't have to deal with in our society, especially in the music industry. And to be everything all the time and the perfectionism of that, where it's just.
Well, now it's becoming trendy to be the opposite, you know, which is great. But it's like when I was coming up, the person that really kind of changed things for women like me was somebody like Adele, because she didn't fit in the size box that, you know, we were always trying to fit in, you know. And still to this day, the beauty standards that we hold ourselves to are pretty insane. And it feels like it's all a bit mentally ill, but you know, we work through it. We work through it, and I have my own things to work through as far as being a woman in this world and loving myself, and you know, having that self-love, and because it's from the inside out. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what the outside looks like, does it? It's really what counts is on the inside.
Absolutely. What do you do to keep you grounded in that mentality? And that practice. It's truly a daily practice to have that.
I think that just doing the internal work really on myself, and that takes years. It's not something that's done overnight. There's a lot of struggles that come with it. Some days you definitely lose those little battles, but that's okay. But I think doing the internal work on yourself is a big step, and you can do it in small pieces, you know, little bit by little bit. So yeah, just one day at a time, practicing self-love and self-acceptance, I think, of where you're at and where you want to be, and always strive to be better, you know, in whatever way that means, as long as it's healthy physically and mentally, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. So speaking of being healthy as well, right? It's a lot to perform. It's a lot to perform to an audience. You have thousands, even millions of fans, right? I know that you have 90 million views on your YouTube.
Yeah.
Happy Now, right? That is no small feat.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty amazing. I'm amazed myself.
So tell us a bit about what that means. Like, what does it mean to have such a fan base following you?
I think that it's just validation of that I wasn't wrong in believing in myself, you know, when I was 14, 15 years old. And all of the hardships that I went through to get that kind of opportunity, that just shows that if you put your mind to something and you don't give up on yourself no matter what, that you can find success in all sorts of forms. And that was one of them. So I'm looking forward to working harder and more things like that, and being able to just connect with people even more. And I hope that going into 2021 that I'm able to do that.
Wonderful. We have a question from a colleague. She said, what has been your, I just lost it. Let me go back. Delane Smith said, what has been your greatest challenge during COVID other than practicing self-love?
Oh, greatest challenge during COVID, getting cleaning supplies, right?
Right? Just the logistics, keeping it going, right?
Getting cleaning supplies. I don't know, like, I think maybe the stir crazy part, because I don't like being inside and I don't like being in my house. I like being just outside. So for me, I go to parks. I live in the park. Like you'll be like, that's Elley. She lives in the park, because I'm always in a park somewhere, and getting fresh air. And I think that's really important, to get outside in nature and get that fresh air and get that sunshine.
Mm-hmm. You have a song called Nature.
I do.
Song. Yeah. But you play with the words, right? Of the notion of nature and
Human
human nature.
Yeah.
But also your human nature is very connected to nature. So that's definitely a theme for your work. Do you have any favorite songs of what you've written?
Oh goodness. I have a song called Counterfeit. I love all of them for different reasons, but I have a song called Counterfeit, and I have a song called Stars that I really love. These are more of the obscure records that aren't as hugely popular, but another one that people really love is Lost My Mind, and that's all of these are off my Dragon Mentality project. And I would like, for anybody that's listening, I think that a lot of people know me for the Happy Now record, but the music that I am most connected to and that I wish people would listen to more is the stuff that is all my own, which is Dragon Mentality and some of my other things. So if you get time and you want to hear some new stuff, I would definitely recommend checking out some of those.
And as we mentioned earlier, you've always gone towards the self artistic songwriting side of things, that you, as a child, you didn't want to play covers. You wanted to write your own music. That's
Absolutely.
That's rare, actually, to have talent. Yeah, and so you're still cultivating that. Can you give us a teaser as to the direction that you are going now, being an artist?
It's kind of in the same direction, it's just elevating. And like I have a song called Free Me Now. I have a song called Kids of the Night. Those are going to be the new record names. I have a song called Traitor. And these are all just emotions and experiences that I'm putting into songs, and all of my different styles that I've had over the years are now starting to come together and blend into the perfect Elley Duhé sound. And so that's really exciting, because I've worked a long time to get to this place with the amazing people that I have involved in creating it.
Oh, that's great. And I would imagine it's been very helpful to have some of the platforms that you've had and your project and your tour with Zed, to have that fan base. And now you're able to step back a little bit and really focus in on your artistry, which you have the entire time, but really which direction you want to go as an independent artist, right? And you still have that fan base to follow you, excited with you.
Yeah.
So great. Tell us a bit about your inspiration for some of these songs, these new ones that you're producing.
Well, I've been diving into a lot more of frequencies, and also just bringing in other nature sounds. So I have some rain in some of my songs. I have the ocean in some of the songs. I have birds in another. So bringing kind of all of those elements in that create a soundscape, not just a song, but a world that you can kind of play in and live in. That's really where I'm at right now with the inspiration of it, just trying to create a world more so, and bring the natural world into this world.
I love that. Yeah, it reflects where you're from as well, right? And then juxtaposed with LA, which is a very different space, but as you mentioned, the parks. Are there any collaborators that you met in LA that you're working with, or others?
The producers that I've been working with the past couple of years, their name is Jordan and Jason, and they are a duo, and they're awesome, and I love them so much, and they put up with all my craziness and all my crazy ideas, and I love them because they'll go there with me and try it, and there aren't a lot of people that are creatively like ambidextrous or like go outside of the box sometimes. So I love people that are willing to go outside of the box and also have the talent to be able to hold it all together. So I'm very lucky to have them.
Amazing, amazing. You talk about being outside the box, and I know you've told me about not wanting to fit in one side. Maybe one song feels like it's headed in this direction and another in this direction. Can you speak to that? What is it in your personality or your background that I know you've also listened to various global music, but what is it that brings you to different places?
I think it's just the love and the desire to express yourself in these styles, it's something that I can't help myself. Like when I love something, and especially with music, if I love something, I try to learn how the brain created it, and then I try to figure out how to make my brain create something that is in that world as well, or is in that vein. And so I will study things and sing things over and over again that I'm really obsessed with. And I love worldly music. I love listening to Eastern music and Native American music and Middle Eastern music and Brazilian music and Colombian music and country and folk music and classical music and soundtracks, film scores. I just, the list can go on. There's so much in the world yet to be discovered, or that is out that, a lot of people listen to whatever they're, stuck into, or maybe there's more people out there like me that I just don't know about. But I love listening to everything. I love listening to everything that's good. If it's good, I'm going to listen to it, in my opinion.
So good. Yeah, and it's incredible that at this time in our history, we have such access, right?
Absolutely.
Even in the last 30, even in the last 10, 20 years, the amount of access we have via the internet and via globalization and the ability to travel and explore these different cultures.
Yes.
Yeah, that definitely probably affects your artistic output as well.
100%. I mean, I'm always just listening I listen to strange, things, and I have different moods. And so I'll go from listening to like trap music to, waterfalls, just the sound of waterfalls, or the sound of the ocean.
That's beautiful. So in thinking about, you and I have talked about the macro and the micro and the difference of diving out, and you've toured all over the globe, right? And having big projects, big lights on you, but still staying rooted. Do you feel like you're rooted as a Southern artist, or as, what is it about your roots that do help you kind of stay grounded as you tour and as you create elsewhere?
I think that where I'm from, because I went away, I was able to come back and really appreciate it. So going away and being away since I was 17, 18, and traveling and not really living at home, but maybe for like a year at the most in the past 10 years, you really appreciate it when you come home, and you appreciate how things kind of slow down a little bit in the South. That's why we talk with draws. It's because it's always so hot and muggy. We talk with a slow draw. Everything's kind of slower. But I think that being in the South, it also gives you humility of living a more simple life. And I think coming back to that and just wanting to not have fame, but I just want to work humbly and work honestly and do what I love. I think that keeping it that simple and just being able to express myself, that I'm able to do that and make money at it, has been such a blessing. And I don't know, I think just being a Southern artist, you're supposed to, have humility and also have a lot of hospitality and manners. In the South, we're pretty big on manners. So I think I carry that wherever I go. We were like, "Oh, you're so nice. You're from the South, huh? You have that Southern hospitality." So I
Mhm.
carry that. Yeah.
Yeah, a great thing to be grounded in, for sure. Yeah, yeah. And that, you've told us some about your fan base as well, and how they tell you they're completely moved by your work and your song shifts their mentality at times.
Mhm.
And maybe you're bringing some of that, right? That calming hospitality even and just giving nature
Yeah.
for your
Absolutely.
songs.
I
So
hope
good.
so.
Yeah. How do you still feel connected to your fans, to your communities, even though you're not touring, you're not doing live shows during this time?
Um, it's actually I haven't been able to feel as connected, the past year, if I'm being honest.
Mhm.
Not like I normally was, but, everything in its divine timing, and, I think that 2021 is going to be a much better year than, this past year, which has been pretty isolating for everybody. But I
Mhm.
think that, now that I also have new music and a whole new rebirth is happening um,
Yeah.
in my music and in my life, I think that I'll have a lot to share. I haven't had as much to share because I've just been working on it, you know? So,
It's
yeah.
a good time to be doing that. It's a good time to have that self-reflection and the honing in on your craft and your artistry, and we're excited. Well, we're very excited for tonight, and we're
I
excited
am
to
too.
hear beyond that and what comes of your music. We're thrilled.
Mhm.
So
I'm
thank you
excited
for
too.
doing this, Ellie. Yeah, this has been wonderful, and it's fun to spend a couple of days. Tomorrow, we also have a school show. We're going to be
Mm,
streaming Ellie live to school performance or classrooms all over the state of Alabama and a little bit
yes,
as well. So thanks
yes.
for your generosity and for joining us here in Auburn, socially distanced and safe and
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's an
yeah,
honor to be here.
absolutely. So I'm going to remind our viewers that Ellie's performance is this evening on our stage here at the Gooch Center. We'll be streaming it live for you to view from the comfort of your home. It's at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. There's still a chance to register to get those free tickets. You go to goochcentertickets.auburn.edu, register just like you're buying a ticket, and the link for the streaming will come in your email. So we're excited. We have one more artist I want to mention on this fall Alabama Artist Series of our GPAC Live. He is Eric Essex, a guitarist from Birmingham. He'll be joining us on December 3rd, 2 Thursdays from today. He'll do the same with Talkback at 1 o'clock and then a performance in the evening at 7:30 p.m. And we must thank a big thank you out to Auburn Opelika Tourism for their support of our GPAC Live series. So, Ellie, thank you so much. We're
Thank you
excited
so much.
to
Thanks
get
for
this
having me.
contract after this. Yeah, and
Awesome.
we'll see you on the stage this evening. Take care.
You too.
Thanks.
Yay!